Okay, we'll make do with what we've got.
Okay, so the time now is Saturday. Time now is 9:27 p.m. Saturday, the 30th of March in New Zealand, and it's Saturday, the 30th of March at 9:27. Sorry, 8:27 p.m. in New Zealand, and it's 9:27 a.m. in Greece. So that's 7:27 in England. And this is the King's Bench Native Court hearing. This is number 51. This is a court hearing 51. So over to you then, John.
Okay, thank you, Andy. Apologize for late start because we've been trying to get our phones on to the hotspot, but I see that it has affected the signal. It's low, so we're going to try and do the best because we're running off hotspot on my mobile and away from a landline or any better signal. And this is Vodafone, and we're making the best out of where we are here in Auckland. And usually it's a good signal on the East Coast, East Cape, where we come from. Me and Robert Carr, and with Pare Rivers from Whakatane is pretty good over there, the signal. So we're hoping the signal will hang out as much as we can to get our court hearing live with the people in Britain, UK, and in particular the sovereign native people of England soil land tonight. Okay, so we are here to have a court hearing against the iwi trustees of the Waitangi National Trust in Waitangi, and also the Cindy Kiro, Governor General, who has put her small flag over the top of our British UK partnership flag with the British flag and the Confederation of Chiefs flag that was given to the native chiefs of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and not so much the whakaputanga flag, which is what the government is using in Kororareka and Russell as the blue flag, and it's not the contract flag that's flying with the British flag on Waitangi Treaty grounds on Waitangi Day, the 6th of February 2024. On that day, there was a foreign company flag sitting up to the top of the British shipmast, and that Cindy Kiro, the Japanese woman, that's the Governor General of New Zealand, impersonating the Queen as a crown on her head to lead this country with the iwi trustees of Waitangi and take over the ownership of the country and the native title gone over the top of it as well. It's one iwi Ngāpuhi that's gone across the rest of the iwi of Ngāpuhi or the hapu of Ngāpuhi and put that one iwi ahead Apui I'm here for with the legal instruments and legal native title to this country of New Zealand as corporate in the world with a king's flag was given to the native and any country that has violated our admiralty, the law of the land, with the shipmast of Brittany grounds, 502 hectares of land that we are putting in this court tonight to see the warrant of seizure, control, and possession to repossess the title to that land and the whole of New Zealand country under our own native title. And that was not to be sold by anybody but the crowned king of England, and then the Queen took over from the king and sold the land some more. They sold Maryland. So now we've got Maryland sold and versus native land, which is British. The Maryland is an invention of the New Zealand Little Crown government private corporation company that's changed its name from Queen and Right of New Zealand Corporation, private company, to Crown Sovereign of New Zealand doesn't mean legally that Kiro owns this country as a crown on her head that we have in this book here of 15 pages, writ warrant to seize back the title from the iwi Maori government corporation, private company, back into the ownership of the Hapu native people of New Zealand, the landowners in cooperation with each other as the legal rightful landowners in a community setting that we are running this Native Magistrate King's Bench Court on under Saudi principle of law of BRICS, the military country run by Putin, the head of BRICS, 45 countries. It was 5 countries, now it's 45 countries of other countries who have had enough of the Queen Corporation Company and the Rothschild banks and Vanguard and the other company that's taken over the country and the world with their bank, and we've got our own bank. They and Moa State AI Federal Confederation Government of Aotea New Zealand as a government of our own, self-government, and the 1852 Constitution Act that Britain gave us the right to use that act as when we are good and ready, to take our country back under that Act, 1852 Constitution of Aotea, New Zealand, Dutch-found country and not German-run country. And we're going to take our authority with the Army General and his authority to enforce our laws that we've got 36 laws of the High Court. This book here, 148 pages, and it's signed by the ex Army General to enforce this title to New Zealand and Pacific Islands and the world with our corporation trading bank flag of the highest corporation in the world, with the King's authority and the King, William III of Orange, Battle of the Boyne, War Powers Act, 1689, in force on top of Biden and Netanyahu, Israel's War Powers Act. And so we've got a War Powers Act over their War Act, what they call War Act, and ours was the original court of record of the courts to make the courts higher than Parliament law. They're going under Parliament law, and we're here to foreclose and bankrupt the government here and build them first, then put them out of business with these documents here. There's 6 of them online, and I've sent them to the whakaminenga up in Waitangi or in Kaikohe more so. And those people up there have been with all these years to put the whakaminenga together, and it hasn't quite gone the right way. So now we can see who is who and separate Gangapui that's with this instrument, the title to New Zealand and the Pacific Islands and the world, but we in particular the Pacific Islands and the armies of the Pacific Islands first, and the Ring of Fire area from New Zealand up to Chile, up to Hawaii, across to Samoa and Tonga, and back to Australia and the islands there, Norfolk Island and Tokoro Islands, back to New Zealand as that Crown of Britain title that started off this whole process in 1689 with the 1694 Pound Note Act. That's the 2 bar pound note, patented money that we have, and the Rothschilds have a 1 bar pound note currency that's not patented. And so that's what caused the fraud of the US dollar. Fraud is still fraud, and King Charles is putting his head on the next pound note with a 1 bar, and Queen Elizabeth just put her head on last year, 2023, put her head on the new pound note, which got 1 bar, and we're putting the 2 bar to put them out of business with the Patterson pound note, 2 bar patented British pound note, which is now run by the Moai Crown, King William IV Trust, and the Moai pound note. The Moai Royal Pacific Asian pound note of the Pacific Royal Ring of Fire boundary area, and we've got the Moai Moai pound note. That's the pound note for Britain. Okay, that's Moai Powerhouse Group Company in England or in Westminster or London, registered, and still I've got it on hold to kick that back into life. When we get the native of New Zealand contract here going and pull the government in Wellington into contract with us, they've pulled us into contract with them, and now it's us, corporate, pulling the government and all its crown agents and their minions in contract with us and drop the 2 bar pound note on their head. So that's what's happening, and they can't refute what we're saying right till now. And now it's time to enforce these 2 books. That one, the title, with the army, and this one, the writ warrant, to seize the country and its titles, its instruments, all its documents that have amassed the foreshore and sea belongs to us. The real crown that this crown in New Zealand has to pay the British crown royalties for the use of the High Court, which is this big book, is High Court. This is made up of High Court rules, and we're using the British High Court rules over the New Zealand High Court rules and put them out of business with this High Court rule and jurisdiction of Admiralty. They have no jurisdiction of Admiralty where they got their authority from. They won't say, only to say that Cindy Kiro can mimic or forge the Queen's crown title on her head. She is not a subject of the Queen in Britain to go ahead with her own crown over us, the crown of kings that made the law that got her on these lands in the first place, got everybody on their lands in the whole world watching us what we do next with these documents, that no one can take their photo off there because they would have told me to long ago, and it's been there for a long time. Everybody that's got their photo in this court is liable, and they're liable tonight for what Israel has done to Gaza and those children and their mothers and buried them alive under the rubble and then put real estate on top of it. That's what they're doing here with us too, with the airport at Mangui Airport. They dug out all of the tupunas or the ancestors' bones, threw them in a container, and said, "Here is your ancestors when putting an airport up." And they did the same thing with One Tree Hill in Auckland, pulled out all the Manukau tribesmen's ancestors of One Tree Hill and sold the land through the same as Israel to John Campbell. And Campbell owns the One Tree Hill, and they put their own professors, um, contemporary history against our traditional original native history, and the government wouldn't listen to us on our traditional history. So I'm going to let Rapata Ka just say a couple of words about what the government and iwi Maori have done to Mount Hikarangi on the east coast to rob us of our native title and put foreigners' names on there as what you call the squatters on our land, turning into owners and putting their name on there and leaving our indigenous names off. And Rapata being Bishop Carr, and I'm being Reverend Wanoa in the Church of England, to the birth certificates that were put together on our land at East Cape, Rangitukia, on his land where the primary school is in Rangitukia. That's where the courts put the magistrate court resident with the birth certificates were there in Tiki on Tiki Marae, Rahui Marae, and my family there, and the connection with the Ka family on the church side of England, that they've violated, or they have gone over the top of that and gone over the top of Ngāpuhi, that who have the contract with the British Crown and us with the East Coast, with the birth certificates and the government bonds there, and the head lease of William Homu for Cambridge and Arapuni, Te Waikato Wharehere Manukau, title in Maungatautari Mountain, and they've called it Pohara Marae, but it's Punga Punga Marae, and the Manukau title. The government went past that. We're using that title for One Tree Hill in Auckland to overtake the Crown's Kawharu professor, Hugh Kawharu from Kaipara, that stole the Manukau title to One Tree Hill. And that's what we're going after with Cook Street, to seize Cook Street back under the unrefuted Manukau tribesman title. There with William Homu, one of the chiefs, there for that title. And we've got Alan Heke for Ngāpuhi title to these documents. Both chiefs is all we need to kick the process off with the natives that have the right to the title, and I've got the instruments and the bank to cover that side of the flag, the Confederation flag with the black strip around the Red Cross is the contract flag with the British Crown. Still there, although the Crown there have gone into Frankfurt, Germany, and trying to use the same Crown to say no one owns anything and you'll be happy with nothing. And so that's not our philosophy. We're using our Crown in Britain as still there with us live. We've got a live contract tonight running with this court, and we've got Ngāpuhi, the legal, lawful landowners, and they have the right to use this flag with the black strip of Satan and shut them down with this flag and these instruments, 6 of these books instruments that are online and have gone to the whakamininga. The whakamininga, the one that I've been with all these years, 50 years in total, that I have been familiar with how that works, but it hasn't worked because the whole lot was split up by the iwi, and the iwi on the East Coast, the iwi in Waikato, and the iwi in Ngāpuhi are the same monsters that are running us and stealing the taxpayers' money for their own selfish self-interest. And Chris Luxton, the Prime Minister, has got 30 houses out of people's tax money and can't pay for our upkeep of us. They're there as servants and not masters of our land and us with the law that's higher than what they have and can't refute this law. So one law has to go. You have to find which one you want, this one or that one. So I'm going to pass it to Rapata now to say a couple of words about Toi Kairako, the proper ancestor for Mount Gangi at the east coast over our lands there that violated and tampered with our whakapapa, our genealogy and our native land. Here he is. He'll say a couple of words to cover that bit and then I'll pass it over to Ngāpuhi.
That one, yeah. Yeah. Kia ora, Andy.
All right. You're all good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just Rapata ka from East Cape, East Coast, Taira Whiti. Yeah. Just Nazi Pro dominating the nuku tere waka the toikai Rako's waka and dominating toikai Rako's whakapapa of the Mount Hikurangi, and also got Gisborne, Tūranganui Akiwa of toikai Rako boundary area to the Lawton Point, Potikiro, Toi Kairako intermarried to Ngāpuhi, the boundary area. Yeah. And and also Ngāti Pro claiming all the land titles. Yeah. That and kapai. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just add to that. He has got the Tuhoi books. Rapata has got the Tuhoi books that have all the whakapapa that the Crown of New Zealand took what they wanted bits out of it and altered Tuhoi's title and put Tamaichi from Tuhoi and violated those traditional history, and turned it into contemporary history. And that's what happened there with Cindy as being Japanese and Tamaichi as being what I know as Aboriginal Australia to run our native chiefs is not right in my books all these years, being native surname of the country, land, and our documents have got indigenous surnames, and anybody looking around the world can see who is who pulling who with whose information, our own information turned on us. And Ngāpuhi will have the same thing done to them as much as Tainui have done the same. They've got a Niuean king, not a indigenous native king. And we don't have kings that come from there representing Ngāpuhi. They don't recognise King Tuhetia as their king. And that I've seen that not work all these years. They tried, but it don't work. Now we can see who's who, because who went over the bridge to Waitangi Marae is the snake head that Greg Cook was there to pick the sword of Queen Elizabeth up and pass it to me, the King of Commerce and the King of Corporation, and said, to me, King, what shall I do with this sword? I said, put it in a cabinet where it should be and not lying around with no cabinet. And he says, what shall I do with this 5-6-star flag of David? I said, destroy it, because that's a war flag and we don't want no more war, so destroy it. And so that's Netanyahu and Biden, America, terrorist flag that causes war. They don't want a ceasefire. They just want to keep killing people to make power for themselves. And it's not working out that way. And Putin is there to do due diligence to the corporations that he's using the same high court rules, and they also pay royalty to the British Crown to use that High Court rule, because the government says to New Zealand, you are a land of no law. We'll give you a law to keep our people from stealing from you, and they're still stealing. And then we've got Alan Hicke today. He's a native court judge, and he's very familiar how it works, and I'm happy with him. He'll be watching tonight, and that's one Hicke. We've got X Hicke with our X, and that's his name, X Hicke. He'll be on tonight watching if he is. Good on him, because it's his day in court. And he chopped the tree down, chopped the flagpole, British flagpole down, because he didn't trust them. That was Hone Hicke, his ancestor, and now he's here to take his place with his axe to cut Cindy Kiro's Japanese flagpole that's sitting up strapped to the top of the British mast and claiming this country with a crown on her head on Waitangi Day, the 6th of February, is their legacy to keep their little crown going in Wellington for their own private needs. Okay, they don't care about anybody. They only care about taxpayers' money, putting it in their pocket to feather their nest and sell the rest of the country to the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. That's what we're doing tonight, shutting Klaus Schwab, German, off our land, and every other corporation that's supporting Klaus Schwab and Syndiciro overtaking our country with a foreign private corporation company. So there, that's what this court here is about tonight. It's about arresting those people who are breaking Ngapuhi's contract. Ngapuhi's flag is their contract. The hapu, not the iwi. The hapu gets their authority from the iwis get their authority from the hapu, then gives it to the Governor General, then gives it to the Queen, then gives it to Biden and every other country that's making money for the British Crown. So we have taken over the British Crown into the Maui Crown King William IV Trust. And this flag is our ticket everywhere in the world, free passage, still there. And you know that, Andy, and they know that in Britain and Europe as well. They know our flag has a contract still live, and we've got live people now in Ngāpuhi that can stand up against the rogue government crown in Wellington and make them accountable and put them out of business with this writ warrant, this 15-page writ warrant, which is what Timu has got now, this one with his name on it, and he's the security to look after us, the government, the Maui E-State AI, Federal Republic Government of Aotea, New Zealand, Dutch Crown country. And Easter, this is Easter weekend with Easter egg and bunny. The bunnies are in Wellington, and this is Easter to remind us where the egg was born for this world on East Island, birth of the world. And Tipito is the little navel in the middle of your stomach. and that's significant. The British Crown knows that. The Dutch know that. The Dutch invented Easter Island, and Rapa Nui, its name, is 12 midday, the Milky Way, and woman's womb in the Kena Marae there to Mokonui, big face, big sign in Rapa Nui, to Mokonui, big face on our land block, and Te Pito there, the same Te Pito, birth of Aotearoa New Zealand country, Dutch, okay, Dutch. And so we're saying to Ngāpuhi, we've done due diligence from the east, and now it's from the north to take stock of the landlord, landowner title, and we are going to hold the bank instruments, and I'll be ringing the bank next week, the Saudi bank, to give us the funding for the whole of the Pacific Island and New Zealand in one shot, and that will cover the cost of the Army, not so much the Navy or the Air Force, but the Army boots on the ground to go in and seize whatever we want back into our ownership of the natives of New Zealand. That's everyone born here. But Ngāpuhi holds the key, the flag of contract. Okay, so now if anybody wants to say anything from Ngāpuhi, they can say something to the court. William Homu Mate from Waikato, the Waikato Wharehere the Mane Hotel. And so I see him tonight there and sent him the documents and his position as there's a few other Homus there too, in support of William as being a senior or elder. And then we've got the Heke family to find an elder, but these young folks like Alan is in my age group around there, or he's in that age group. There will be an older elder, Heke, just one, just like a prime minister. It takes one or one governor general. So we just need one chief to fire these documents into life. And that's what this hearing is tonight about, seizing all that land block on the treaty grounds off the government in Wellington and put it back into the control of Ngāpuhi Whakaminga, the government there, and that's their government of the country here, if they so wish to be taking the Whakaminga title off the government, Wellington, pretend government, and make themselves fit that right now with the remainder balance of Ngāpuhi who don't like what's happening in front of them, in front of their eyes, in front of my eyes, that I'm here for Ngāpuhi with our East Coast crew and Pare Rivers from Whakatane and the Tūhoi books she gave to Rāpata to interpret and to see. We can use those books and throw them in the face of the government and what they're doing to our whakapapa, our genealogy, our native title, is switching it to make their professors now accountable. That means on the East Cape, the koheres accountable for being a professor, and the kawharu, Shehu Kawharu in Kaipara for being a professor there, and whoever the professors are up in Taitokoro in Ngāpuhi, that's Margaret Mutu and all the rest of them that have to now come clean where they're going to from here. And with these documents, they can't refute because it's got too much against them and they can't get out of it, out of our contract. We're putting them in our contract grip that they cannot get out because we've plugged all the legal holes up, and we are here for Ngāpuhi to make sure they have their country and their titles not tampered with anymore. So anybody from Ngāpui want to say something at the moment? I've sent it to Oriana and Bruce Joyce and Manny Harris or Raymond Harris. They should be on tonight because I've invited them to come on and speak for Ngāpui because I can't speak for them. Although I've been there for years, I'm just saying I'm here because I know the whole history back to front. And been in the whakaminenga myself with Nuki Ulrich, and even Bryce Smith hasn't answered the phone to me. There's been a few people still wondering which way to go or who to believe. They're either on the side with the crazy Netanyahu in Israel and Biden madman, or with us, the original people and the native-born people of the land. It's one or the other. Go that way or this way. It's your choice, Ngāpui. We're here for you, but it's up to you, people there in Hokianga and Tahike, Horeke, and all that Mangungu and the Rawene and the Native Magistrate Court there, and not so much the Ratana because they made their way and support the Kingitana and the Ratana Church and also the iwi trustees of the Waitangi National Trust. We're putting on the block tonight. They are on the block because they have no title against this book and the seals on this book. See those seals on the top? Where is their seals to the British that gave them the authority to go on the land and use the instruments of making money, Admiralty, law of the sea, on the land? No one's got a law of the land flag. We're the only ones in the world that have a law of the land flag of a king, and nobody else can talk like that. But us and Ngāpui have got the chance to stand now and say, we are the landowners of New Zealand. Okay, so there. Anybody want to say something? Oriana, are you there? You should be there because I've invited you on here tonight to say something. Otherwise, it's just going to float along and we're ready to go now with the bank and get everything cranked up because the army is ready. The Army General is ready. Are you ready to take your country back? Because you should have been ready long ago, but now it's never, or now or never, because next year you won't have a country. It'll be gone. And you'll own nothing and be happy. If there, or you want to come this way, you'll own everything and be away with Cindy. You have no control anymore. We've got a writ warrant of control here, possession, and arrest. We can arrest all those people and Sydney and make them accountable for stealing the British Crown business flag of Admiralty. Okay, so that's that. We're hoping that Greg would have covered in, but I can't get him on the phone. So there's something not quite right because we've got the books back and good for Tanya Ramika to return 2 books, but 1 book is missing. It's Greg's got it. That's got signatures in. He's had it over 3 weeks. It belongs to the court. Ngāpui, that book is the other book like this one that's got signatures and he's supposed to get more chiefs' signatures. Now I've got the real signature from Heke. Okay, so that's all we needed. We didn't need anybody else because the Utatongas have been hijacked by the Crown of New Zealand, have hijacked the Utatonga family. So I won't be using them in this title. I use Heke that cut the flagpole down because I know he's got his day in, and that's what's happening. We've got that sorted. We've got Alan. He should be watching tonight. Alan Heke was with him today at Otara and with the Army General. that's going to do the honors and make these come alive and enforce them. Okay, so that's all we needed to make these documents live and useful as instruments that nobody in the world can refute. And it's in pictures. So if your picture's in there, it's there because it's a court. That's the way the native court does it. And it shows you who is the likeness of the criminal that we are accusing, a criminal of fraud, corruption, and murder. And they're not saying anything. When they don't say anything, it's disclosed like this. Then the judge can't make money out of any of this because he says everybody knows. We can't do nothing about it. And that's what happened to me on Cook Street. They get no information to go above the top of this lot. So there's not going to happen again on Cook Street because we're taking Cook Street over this time, Andy, and with or without anybody's help. But the Army, the Navy is gone now because Gregory Cook has taken their title with the crown and anchor that's on our heels. So he's done some diligence getting that done, but something's gone amiss. He has to hand those documents back because we're not going anywhere till we get that book back from him. And I left that to Tim Vitoru and with Donovan to do that to save us the worry of the court. Now our court just got bigger with a hickey judge, and he knows what he's doing because he sounds just like what I'm sounding like. And we know what we're doing. We only want to contract people who know what they're doing. Anybody can run this government and do a better job if we contract them from BRICS. That's what's going to happen. We'll get contractors from BRICS and put the army in charge of the government and seize all their instruments. And we will, because we own everything the Crown here owns and the British Crown too. They've run off from us and our contract with the two flags flying for many years. And Ngāpuhi is still holding on to the flag, wondering what to do. And without the Freemasons in the documents they own, nobody can do nothing about them because it's Freemasons' title to the instrument. Okay, so that's they're looking after me. I think I can only assume why the documents I've got are not challenged because they'll jump in and say, we own 10% of what you're recovering, and so be it. But if it's 40 or 50%, we can say no. You made us find out what you're up to, and we found out what you're up to. So you're not going to get what you want because you ran away and shut everything. You got the money out of the Admiralty, and you can't tell anybody where you got your money from. Even that Kawasaki, that Chinese cheeky fella that says, I make money out of paying no tax. That's cheating. I'm telling it on Facebook. He cheats because he knows how to work the pirate side of Admiralty. It's pirate on the high sea and make a lot of money like Trump. Makes money out of real estate because they know how to trick the taxpayer out of their money and use their money against them and feather their nest and make big real estate out of it. And those people are going to pay the 970 million trillion pound note bill. Too bad. That's how the law works. We go and pull them into our contract just like they pull us into their contract, but our contract is savage. It is no feelings in corporations, and we are the same. With native law, you break our law, we'll break your law too and put you out of business. See, so that's what's happening tonight for Ngāpuhi. I hope they're listening because it makes our job better when it's got an audience. It's going to go gradually more and more popular if the people want to be free. This is the only way you can be free against pirates on high sea using Admiralty and won't tell you where they get the authority to make money. We've got it. We've got the authority to make money from Admiralty, and nobody else in the world can do that and challenge America that are now thinking, oh, we've got all the money, we're bigger than Britain, sure, but they can't tell you where they got that power from, Westminster, and think, now we've got the power and the money, we can bomb the hell out of you and bomb the hell out of the UK too. So do you think that's a good idea if this Cindy Kiro, Japanese, comes and takes over? She's got the 8-point star of Ireland on her vest, just like all the other cricket marks, wearing the 8-point star of St. Patrick in Ireland, and she's a Japanese, not as Irish, to be wearing that out of sync with the flag. She can't claim that flag wasn't given to Japanese. It wasn't given to Tamiti Australian. That he says, I learnt the reo. That means I learned how to speak Maori. So I'm a Maori. And same with Cindy Kiro. I talk Maori, sound like Maori, because I'm a Maori. And so you say, no, hang on, where did that word come from? And when you have a good look, it's come from the Crown in Wellington, New Zealand. They own that word Maori. They own everything Maori until you strip it from them. And that's what this court hearing is about. Strip the word Maori, strip the word whakamininga, strip the word whakaputanga from them, because the king didn't give those people this flag to do that with. Okay, I'm saying to Ngāpuhi, look, wake up, and the balance of what's left of you, take stock of these documents, and the army will get paid to come and protect you, to make sure you get what you deserve. Your land stolen, land returned. Okay, so that goes for all the nations in the world, waiting and watching Ngāpuhi make the first brave move, kick this lot off their land, and it will happen in a shot. That's what Temu says. When Cook Street falls, the whole of the corporation will fall behind that one. And he's right. He's right. He knows. He worked it out. And he's a security to look after us and our business here and alert the other armies in all the other 256 countries that we have found who the system is trying to take over other countries with our law of kings. Okay, the King's War Powers Act goes across anybody else mucking around our contract and tampering with our history and tampering with our native titles to make money for themselves and not for us, the people of the land. That means everyone in the country is free to join this when it kicks off. And Ngāpuhi will light the fire today to let a little spark grow bigger and bigger. So if anybody's out there in Ngāpuhi that can speak and say something, then I can carry on and finish the hearing off. Anybody got something to say that's there? Or Alan, Heke, if you're there, or Oriana should be there, or Bruce Joyce should be there. These are my old mates up in Ngāpuhi that I've sent out the invite to come on Zoom. They should know Zoom is the way to go, that the government uses Zoom, all businesses use Zoom, and it was better if we did it this way rather than wait for them to make hui. We're making the shots. This is number 51 court hearing that's been public and international all this time. Okay, we've been making these court hearings so that people can learn how to do it. And we're just saying to Ngāpuhi, we've done the yards, putting a little court hearing together, and unfortunately, Bandi Waitai and Manahi Mohini have gone with the Crown to think that they can do a native court for Cindy Kiro is not without these documents. They've got no documents to string all these seals at the top of the page and the seals underneath here, and especially this one in colour. When it's in colour, it's most pronounced as being the seals, and these seals are just too much for the Crown corporations of Israel America terrorists. They can't match that because they've got nothing but a whim. And Ngāpuhi should know that. The hapu is there and the people living with them to see their land get taken from them because it's Maori. And Ngāti Whātua o Rake is the Crown's tribe of Auckland. It belongs to the New Zealand government. Ngāti Whātua o Raki and Auckland title belongs to the Crown. We're stripping that title from them because they don't have these original documents. Okay, with these shells. They only got a wooden pedal, and that's nothing. They've got nothing now from the Navy, nothing from Britain, just Syndicate with a crown on her head and a bodgy flag and a pole sitting on top of our British contract. She has violated our contract, and that's in commercial law. If you know commercial law and contracts and corporations, nobody ever does that to anybody in any country, is inviting war. That's what she's done for, because they only know war. And to make war here is to stick your flag on top of somebody else's flag and take over. That's not on. Now, we don't let that happen. I'm telling you straight out, as a native court judge of this country for 50 years of research into whose land it belongs to. It belongs to the taxpayers and the people who are born on the land against this foreign company. It's a foreign company set up by Klaus Schwab in Germany, and they're Zionists. It's the Zionists that have violated the king's laws of commerce and corporations. We are the head of all corporations in the world with that much information. And that book, there's a 770-page book, and this is 448-page book. It's just too much for them. They can't refute it. They won't. They'd rather be silent and ignorant, but silence is an admission of guilt, that they are guilty, like we say, murderers, and committed treason right in front of us and got caught. They've got caught doing the fraud and doing the corruption and doing the jabbing and doing the violation and the spraying the skies, poisoning the water, poisoning the food. Everything is up against them with one single pound note on their head. 970 million trillion pound note. We can draw against that lien on anything the Crown has hidden, stolen, or using on the stock market and on their business trading. We can take the whole lot with the Maui Crown King William for trust. And that's a private company, nobody's business. That's what I'm saying is live. It's a live contract here. We're saying that here, and our lineup of chiefs here, and Te Waikato Wharehere Manukau and Hongi Hika standing together on the pound note. And when you look through this 15-page book, it's got pictures of these pirates here. Okay, you can see them here, Netanyahu and Biden, and Sunak, the Prime Minister of Britain here. They're the ones running the scam business of Crown corporations, and under the Queen, Victoria and Queen Elizabeth, and Charlie, that's going out of fashion, and they're trying to put in King William to take over our William flag and Dutch flag. He's not the Dutch bloodline, for a start. They've got the bloodlines mixed up with everybody else, and that's what the problem is with Ngāpuhi. It's full of different bloodlines, and you got to see through all that mess to find who is who. Okay, so I'm saying, Greg, I want the book back with the signatures. We've got the signatures in this one to replace that one that's not back in the court. It belongs to the court, and I want it back this weekend. Okay, and we'll be up there to pick it up. We're coming up to pick it up and to have one big hui with Ngāpuhi and to take this country and Waitangi marae land and the marae and my ancestors kings in that marae and the marae statue that's got stolen by your Queen Victoria, 1868, I want that time put in place with Ngāpuhi because that's their history from Tahiti. Okay, Ngāpuhi and us here at the East Coast and also in Waikato, not Tainui, Waikato. Tira Waikato, Wharehere Manukau, is the real owner of the Waikato River, not Tainui or Tainui Harbour, it's Manukau Harbour that they get their treaty claims information and Waitangi Tribunal information from for their treaty claims. They still use the Manukau Harbour, slip their Tainui waka into the Manukau Harbour. They can't get away from it. It's there before they got there. So I'm saying that Sindikira is jumping ahead of us as if she was there first with their Pākehās that have gone ahead of us, the original native people of this country that want justice in this court and not justice in their court because you'll lose if they go in their court. So any Ngāpuhi want something to say? The floor is yours now. Bruce Joyce, are you there? No?
Not there, John.
That's all right. We have to go up and see him and to see them because they know we were talking on Messenger and talking face to face. And I wanted this hearing tonight just to let the sparks fly that we are now live with our flag contract today and to open up the way for Ngāpuhi. Anybody from Ngāpuhi? Are you there, Alan? Heke? He should be there tonight. And Timu might be there. They might not want to talk. That's fine. If they want to go to the marae, we'll have to go and travel again and go up to north to where they can have a hui on a marae and we can drop everything there and ask questions. Because that's all this is tonight, a question the court. Question anything you want to say to the court and we'll keep going until it runs out of questions. We'll answer a question with a question or answer an answer with an answer. You won't get nothing and from thin air. You'll always get an answer. And you can ring me up any hour of the day. You'll still get me on the end of the line saying the same thing. Never going to change. Never. And Bruce Joyce and all those ones up there in Hokianga and Ngāpuhi, no, I'll never change. And that's for the court to stand on its 2 feet and say something. That's right, Andy, because tonight was a court hearing to open the way up for Ngāpuhi to say something. Otherwise, they will ring me up. There's no time left. There's no time left. We're going up there to make a hui somewhere so we can sit there and talk to everybody. The whole country want what to watch. And we don't have to wait around for weeks. There's no time left. We're ready to go. I'm ready to sign the contract with the bank. The 10 trillion. I'm ready. They're ready. They're saying, what's wrong, Don? What's wrong with the people? Why are they sleeping? We got work to do. We can't wait around for you all day long because you got empty land with cows on it, and we want to put something on the land so you can have some revenue to live off instead of the benefit and the pension. We can run our own selves with our own land. Why the cows got the land leased for years and years and years for one family? And what's wrong with us doing something for the whole community, which is all we're going to get for the loan, for the money. The money comes from there. The Kiwi Bank here is getting their money from none other than the Saudi bank, the same bank as we're getting the loan from. We can pay it off with £1 note. Bang, finish. Bang. But I said, no, we'll string it out and pay it off a bit at a time, just like you fellas, so it doesn't look like we're overpowering you with money. You see, so we're allowed to do what we're doing. Otherwise, somebody would have said, no, you can't do that. because you'll put us out of business. If you keep saying these things and doing it, it's going to hurt our business. Well, we're here to run a corporate business to see which one has got more grunt in it to trade with another country fairly instead of one-sided one-man band. There's no one-man band, no mortgages in this. That's all gone. No need for mortgage. It's all fraud business that we have in a native court is you steal, you pay. If you don't tell us where you're hidden the gold, we'll put a lien on it because we have the right with this flag to use its power to put a War Powers Act over everything missing and the gold and put a value on it. See, so the government put 38 trillion of value on the assets of the Pacific Ocean of 200-mile radius of New Zealand. That's what it's worth, just that bit, 200 miles out, not the rest of the coast going all the way to America on the Ring of Fire area. No, just assessing 200-mile limit is worth 38 trillion revenue. So we're borrowing 10 trillion against 38 trillion assessment of all that wealth that they're going after without a foreshore seabed title. This is the title here for the foreshore and seabed that we're giving the bank in Saudi. Tell them, here is the title to the foreshore and seabed. And where's the Crown of Wellington's title? Absolutely nothing. Just a whim and a guess who's got the title, because we said so. It says here. And we say, it says here too, who's got the title. We got the title, and where's yours? They say, oh, you caught us, didn't you? I said, yes. What you going to do? Run away too? You're going to do a Cindy Kira and run away next? And change your name, change your spots? No, we got you changing your spots. And you got a wolf head in the sheep's clothing and talking crooked square numbers and square letters. We don't have square letters. We just paint them pictures on our side, and they all mean the same thing. Plain English. You see, it's all plain English. So you trick us no more with your square printing. Okay, we know what you do, and so we'll just want you to own up. If you don't own up, we'll take you out. Legally and professionally. See there, Andy, nobody wants to talk. That's fine. So long as it's on the record and our signal is good, there was nothing much more to say other than let Ngāpui who are sent the link to come on and say something might be shy. That's fine. If you want to go on the marae, we'll go to the marae and do it there again online. Tell us which marae to have a hui, and we'll go and have a hui, just like they want. And we'll go there. And Greg should bring our book back there. Okay, so we need that book back in the court because he's had it over 3 weeks, and we need the signatures in it with the signatures we got in this one, and transfer everything into the book he's got is officially court property. Court property becomes a police matter if it's not returned. Okay, that's what I said to Donovan. Becomes a police matter of intellectual property, ownership of the court. And that took 50 years to put that together to go and hold the whole business up. And that girl that stopped him from giving the book here to the Governor General. That's where that came from. So somebody's saying something to somebody's ear, and somebody's listening to someone that has lots of power that has got no backing behind it. No documents, no nothing, no government, no nothing. At least we've got our own government we're allowed to do. They don't need to know anything because we can say we're private or public, one or the other. And we are Crown Corporation business. We've got everything to say we are Crown ownership of the British Crown and the New Zealand Crown too, and every other Crown that can't tell us where they got the money from and the authority to make money they can't tell you because they don't want to, because it'll open a can of worms. Even the Vatican, where it got its money from, was out of this book, the High Court. This is High Court. Vatican used this and the Freemasons' instruments in here. The Freemasons own all the instruments that I've got. We own the land, they own the instruments, the Crown owns the business. See? So if the Crown is disappeared from us, we become the Crown to take the Crown's business over. That's what we're doing here tonight in this court. Taking the Crown of New Zealand, taking the Crown of every other country that's using Admiralty to make their money and their Crown business come from Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth, and now Charlie Pedophile. There's a pedophile business, and now William, to try and make it clean, won't work. It's not going to work because he's tarred with the same brush. The Crown Corporation on the Rothschild Bank's money is fraud. It's fraud money. It's fraud law with made fraud money that's spinning around in thin air with nothing to back it up. And they assassinate anybody playing around with their law. And they're using war as an instrument that they say they've got the right to use. We say no to them using the War Powers Act because we'll drop the War Powers Act on them in any court and they'll lose because they can't prove they worked hard for it. They stole the whole thing. See, so dear Andy, that gives you a summary of everything. That's when it's silent, it means it's on track. You see? And so because Ngāpuhi won't answer, they might be shy, that's fine. But at least we're saying it in public, who we are, transparent, in front of Ngāpuhi with something to help them on their way. That. Okay? And this. And we're giving this to them to prop them up to take control of this country because the whakamininga, as far as I'm concerned, is still our authority to run this country as a whakamininga or as a Maori government state. One or the other, or two. The Maori East State government or the whakamininga for those people that want to go that way, and this way, the Maori East State government for the Pacific and the whole world. They can't talk the whole world where this flag they're holding goes all the way through the world. See, Ngāpuhi can't talk without instruments. To make it work, they can with instruments. We're here with the instruments, the bank, and the legal native title. You can't sell native land, only the Crown. And we can take the Crown over with all its titles and native. The native chiefs of every country in 256 countries transferred their native title to the British Crown ownership of the lease only, the lease of the land, not the sale of the land, the lease of the land. The sale was done under the Crown Corporation of Victoria, Elizabeth, and Charlie. That's where it got sold to them and not the king. Okay, the king started doing leases, and now the Crown Corporation under Charlie wants to go lease lands, and you will own nothing. Lease the land, and they own the lease, and they'll take all your property from you. They'll take you and your property and own it, and you'll have to pay them for the use of that land and the property. They'll take ownership because it's stuck to the Crown land. Everything is still Crown. Everything is still Crown ownership until you remove the Crown from the land. So when we do that, we take over the Crown because we're on our own to make our own decisions, and every country's on its own now. That's why the Crown here is panicking in Wellington and do what they do, break laws or anything, just to get control of the people. And the people are asleep to see they've duped them, and they don't know the little dangerous flag was up there for a reason. They didn't do that for nothing. They did it because they knew everybody's asleep and don't know the big picture of taking the whole world over with this one little flag of a Japanese. And the Japanese woman is America, has taken Japanese over, and they tell Sindicura, do this or you'll get assassinated. See, that's it. You get assassinated if you don't listen to the Americans and Israel. That's controlling the world and using taxpayers' money to prop up Israel and Ukraine, the two biggest thugs out in this corporate world of corporations and admiralty law of the sea on the land. You see, all we do is kick them off the land because they go back in the sea where they came from and get off our land with a land flag. They've grabbed our land flag and we'll turn the flag on them and boot them. That's what we're doing here tonight. We're setting them up, ready to take their land back. Otherwise, if they don't, it's gone. They'll be put in FEMA camps if they don't get the jab next year. And if you don't get the jab, they'll lock you up in the FEMA camp and they will cut you in pieces and sell your heart, your brain, your body parts and get money that way out of you if you don't do something about it now and stop the racket. It's a game, like Jordan Maxwell says, it's a game of water power, water birth on people. When you birth in the harbour, then they come ashore and away they go with their admiralty off the sea on the land. And he's right. And a lot of people can understand that, but they can't take action because you need these instruments to make it work, especially the documents that are owned by the Freemasons. Okay, they did it from Scotland. They did all the titles, but the Irish put the lease together. The Irish and the 8-point star is the lease, and the Scottish people is the title to the land, and the lease in Ireland, and those bits come together in England as the hub of the business. The Crown Corporation business is there, and you've got Scotland on one side and Ireland on the other side, and Wales is the original land of England. You see, so there, Wales doesn't fit the picture, only Northern Ireland and Scotland. And that's what we go on to keep us on our white side to the British Crown and the British UK Westminster government, to whom we still are. The government of Israel and America and Canada and Australia and New Zealand can't do without that UK British Crown title. See, they've cut themselves off with the government here from sovereignty, direct from Westminster. So they're going through Australia to give themselves sovereignty. It don't work because King William was there before Victoria, and they couldn't use him to make New Zealand a title because he already had the title here, okay, before Victoria got here. That's what they don't know that. When you go deep into it, this is how it works. So if you don't know all of that and how that strings together, then it affects the whole world. That Gene O'Dane came from America to see me here and wanted to find out where America bankrupted America was Mount Eden Hill, opposite the One Tree Hill. It's got the plaque there of bankrupting America in 1935, thereabouts, on the plaque. It says there, America. Okay, so that's that side of Whakapapa to the Crown business. And there's our flag there behind Andy. He's putting it up for Britain, our partnership, to keep this flag and us going there, as he's a native of England, although he lives in Greece. He's there, out of their way. He would have been arrested and jailed long ago, like Assange, locked up because he was whistleblowing and opening up the truth about what the Crown is really up to. And so there, I think I've said enough, Andy, and I'm still waiting for someone to say something. What's wrong with Bruce Joyce and Manny Harris, Raymond Harris? Why aren't they on tonight on Zoom? Because the government uses Zoom to do their business. This is a business meeting. Where are the business fellas? I want to talk business. And that's what this meeting is about tonight, business. The start of native court business. For the first time in New Zealand, we have a native court to run a native court business. And I'm waiting for Ngāpuhi to show up and say something to claim a native court's business. And nobody's brave enough yet because I think they need a little babysitting to know what to do because it's brand new. It's old, but it's brand new. You have to be born again here, and not so much a Christian because the Christian people and the church got most of the money out of the Admiralty and stole everything in those societies, those raised the money for poor people, raised the poor people they robbed, they raised the money for the poor people they stolen their country and put them as refugees. They're putting up these opportunity houses to raise money for those people and pocketing it. You see, everything they do, they pocket. For the money going to Haiti, they stuck it in their pocket, like the woman, usually woman, that's Hillary Clinton, pocket the money that's supposed to go to Haiti, that country that they robbed and stole and took their babies and everything. And they raised the billions to forward to them from people raising money and stuck it in their pocket. And the Haiti only got a few houses, and that's what they all got. Nothing much. And still doing the same thing in America. They're all rogues over there. I'm saying the American people got no brain in their head to keep going and roll over and over Biden's stupid story and propaganda. You see, they're listening to Tucker Carlson and all those people talking it up all the time. They just do that to keep themselves in their propaganda business, paying them heaps. And that Kiyosaki fella, he's sucking the living daylights out of taxpayers' money, saying, oh, I don't need to pay tax. You know, he's saying this is the way to cheat. That's what I'm writing on Facebook. How to cheat. Follow this fella. He'll show you how to do the Admiralty this way. Know how to steal people's taxpayer money and don't pay tax. Do what he does and follow. Everybody do that. Do that and you'll be rich like him. And so that's an example of extravagance in duping the tax people out of their money, and because he knows what to do with their money. He says, I don't have to work, I just use people to pay my mortgage. Who says that? A pirate says that. So I'm saying he's a pirate, and they know how to milk the money and the system to feather. How many houses? You got 15,000 houses. And here's Luxton here, Prime Minister got 30 houses. Just shows you how many houses Trump's got. He's got a big tower and he collects lots of money from that because he milked the Admiralty system. And the Vatican got all that stolen stuff. They're thieves, stealers and wheelers and dealers. And he's got all the stolen memorials under the Vatican with tunnels all over the place and hiding everything, hiding what they stole and put guns out there and shoot everybody that tries to get near their stolen pot of gold. You see, we're saying we'll drop this War Powers Act on the head and let the army, boots on the ground, go and clean up. Yeah, if that's enough, said Andy, I'm just trying to send Ngāpuhi that we're ready when they are, but we can't wait around forever because every day that goes past is a day that Sindikira is taking over the country because it's set in concrete. They've set themselves up, put their little flag up, and they haven't noticed what's going on really on Waitangi Day. It's not the same Waitangi Day. They go straight past Te Tii Marae, where their 1840 treaty of Brest that I told Kingi Toto to throw it back in the sea, and they stopped them from doing that. That's the Ngāpui people on the land block there on Te Tii Marae and the National Trust. The young ones, right? The young ones there, that the government listens to the young bucks and not the old people and say, we'll do what you say. See, so they're all in the scam together. Everybody that went over the bridge followed each other on the other side with the white flags of Ratana. They are complicit in the fraud, wheeling, and dealing of this country and making us look like pirates. And they're the pirates, not us. I'm saying that tonight in this court hearing. This court hearing is about those pirates who went across the bridge, and they're going to lose everything because lose, and they will, because they can't refute what we're saying, and we're going to stick it into action with the Sodi Bank and tell them this is what happened on Waitangi Day. See the little flag? That's a threat on our title, land, and on our economy with the BRICS government. We want our hand to protect our hydrogen economy and the tidal turbines. That is a good project that the Chinese jumped onto and the power companies here jumped onto. And that's us, that we can say we are ready with a good business plan, with the title to the land, with real chiefs that can tell you who they are on their 2 feet, and the historians ourselves traditionally, like Rapata, and he knows what he's talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You know what you're talking about. And the only people who don't know what they're talking about is those pirates that are assuming that they have the title when they don't. Okay, Andy?
Okay, John. Yeah, brilliant, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Like I said, though, you know,
Because nobody wants to speak. How many?
there's 7 on there.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope people will get the message. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. That just shows me the amount of support we have because it's late notice.
Yeah.
They only got a late notice, and we can still have another court hearing after this when I hear back tomorrow.
Yeah.
From a response when I ring them up. I'll ring them up. Some of them have given me their phone numbers and their contact, and so I can call them tomorrow and spend a bit of time here because we'll be making our way up north to retrieve our book. And I said to Donovan, no, we've got to keep moving and keep the momentum up. We're not giving up on what has happened in front of us, and we're not going to stay taking it lying down.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then, John, shall I end the meeting now, then? Shall I end the hearing?
Yes, end the meeting now. Yep.
Right, then the time now is 10:50 a.m. in Greece, so that's 9:50, is it? 9:50 p.m. in New Zealand, and it's 30.
Yep.
I'll end the hearing.
Yep.
Stop the recording.